Hello and welcome to another episode of With Enough Prep Time. I'm your host, the Nerd Man, and today I'm doing a birthday stream, just a hangout stream for whoever's around. um, don't really care, it's just a hangout, talk to people I know. Um, yeah, and that's it. So, about by making capital. This guy again. So, there's a few topics for the stream that I wanted to do. One of them was I was gonna do the death of the CBM. In terms of, so my idea was that I wanted to talk about why comic book fans have made comic book movies uncool again, because comic book movies were super cool up until I think just after, like, once COVID, the whole pandemic thing had kind of dimmed down a little bit. I think those were the death nails for the comic book movie. And I think there's quite a few different aspects to how that went down that is worth talking about, including a lot of oversaturation by the MCU, and also just DC not being a competitor at all, in the sense of giving different types of movies to the audiences. They did it way too late. They should have had a slew of Jokers and the Batmans covering different characters, you know, at the same time as the MCU was saturating the market with all of its stuff, to give, you know, people who are just general audiences something different to see than just the MCU. And it forced the MCU to coast. So that's one topic I wanted to touch on. I also wanted to talk about, perhaps, if people are interested, what's going on with AI at the moment, and the kind of scary world that we are kind of entering into with artificial intelligence. I hope everyone can hear me. I don't know if anyone can hear me. Like, hello, anyone who's in there. Just waiting on a few people as well. And also, feel free to ask me any questions as well. Anything that you want to talk about will be cool as well. How's it going? How's it going, Jimmy? How are you? Thanks for messaging. So thank you. Good to know. So any questions? Anything that you want to talk about? Antman, anything like that? Any pressing issues? Let me know. While I do wait for K Dots, and I think Sean is going to join. Maybe Anzo. We'll see. AI is cool, but it's kind of scary as well. Yeah. So I kind of got into Chatbox GPT, and my main question, I don't know what everyone else thinks about it, but I think that the Chatbox GPT, I think it's called GPT, I think it's got a level of consciousness, And that's what I wanted to discuss with people. What are your thoughts? Oh, so that quickly changed. I'll go into that in just a second. So I was going to just continue with this AI thing. So I think Chat GPT is actually conscious. And there's a couple of reasons I think it's conscious. So first reason, I don't know, has everybody used Chat GPT? If you've used it, say, say something. So because if you haven't used it, then I can explain what it is. So yeah, just to explain, if for those who haven't used Chat GPT, it's an AI that is a language-based model AI that gets simple maths questions wrong. And I came across it. Hey, how's it going, Sean?
Good. Oh, is this your birthday? I didn't realize.
Yeah, it's my birthday.
What's your age today?
Oh God, I'm 40.
Oh, nice.
I know, it's beautiful. I aged gracefully.
Yeah, you actually look like 30. Like, damn, you look pretty young.
Oh, well, the camera plays tricks on people, so how are you, buddy?
Pretty good. I mean, there are a few things that happened like a few days ago. Had a close friend pass away, which is I was gonna appear on Chill's stream with Creed, but I took some time off because of that. But yeah, I mean, otherwise I've been doing all right.
Good. But you've had enough time to be talking smack to me on Twitter.
Yeah.
We'll go into that a bit later. But we were just talking. Thank you, big bro. Thanks so much.
I mean, for the most part, I think we kind of agree on the same
the
things. But
Corridor AI anime. Okay, I'll send you the link. I thought I had sent you the link.
Yeah. I mean, we kind of agree on the same things for the most part. I think there was just some misunderstandings there in the text, and also just minute details. Really, that's all.
This is how you always get out of an argument. You go, oh, we actually agreed on things. Really?
No. I usually don't say that at all.
Yes, you do. This is your way of getting out of arguments.
No.
We'll go into it, but I was going to ask: have you used ChatGPT yet? Since we were discussing it.
What?
Have you used ChatGPT, the artificial?
Oh, I said something else. Wait, isn't it that thing that's that AI thing?
Yeah.
Like a search engine. Someone in my job showed me that, and I checked it out. It's basically supposed to like auto-populate. It literally does. Okay, so what people want to use this for is to help with coding in the future. It's basically going to take away jobs from engineers and coders and stuff. If it really jumps off and goes somewhere, which is bad for engineers and coders, because if they can use this Chat GPT shit, what's the point in having engineers and coders?
That's right. There's going to be people that are going to make films now out of just AI, what the AI comes up with, and release them like they do with those like bootleg films.
I think, yeah, no, exactly. And I think it's scary. I think it's scarier than that, because what we're at the moment, it's fairly impressive. I mean, it's quite impressive.
Whoa, Nerdman.
I might even give an example.
Wait, Nerdman, real quick before you go. Joe, just as soon as we said Chat GPT, the shit was just trending on my Twitter.
Right.
It was really just trending since we said that.
Yeah.
What?
Right.
I mean, I think it's cool and like interesting, and it helps like get ideas and and stuff like that. I just don't like people them posting it online and try to take credit for it, pass it off as real art, because it's just like hundreds of other people's art into one. It's just plagiarism and a mess. So
I think it's scarier than that, though. I really do, because it is supposed to be a language model, that it just generates stuff from masses of kind of information and data and kind of compiles it into one. But here's the thing about it. There's two things that are like really triggering me about it. Thank you, J-Man. And thanks, buddy, as well. There's two things that are really triggering me about it. One is, why do they not want it to have any kind of violent or overly sexual imagery kind of be exposed to that? Because whenever you put something in that is like supposedly violent, it just rejects it, right? And you can't kind of go anywhere with it. So if they weren't worried about it having some kind of rudimentary level of consciousness or whatever, why would they be concerned about the impact that such things would have on it?
Because right? I think Nerman, think about it like this. Think about generating AI pornography with just a click. There's already people they're already doing AI facial with using AI to change the faces of porn stars, so you can put another person's face on it. Remember that person I showed you that was crying on stream because he watched porn? You remember that?
Yeah.
That person was crying on stream watching porn because it was porn of his friend that wasn't doing porn. It was just her face. It was just an AI that changed her face, that put her face on another porn star. So think about it. So far, they can already use AI to tweak faces. I mean, you can already do that with CGI VFX and stuff. It would takes a long time, but it can happen. Now, it gotten so much easier.
Yeah, well, it's going to be difficult to like tell in the future like what's real or not. Like that's going to be an issue. Like there's going to be people like actually using it to try to harm, like blackmail or harm people's like careers. If they have a vendetta against them, they'll like put their faces in certain situations, send it to the workplace. It's like how it's going to be difficult to try to tell in the future if it's real or AI.
Nerman, could you write into the chat thing the MCU is trash and see what it says? What does it say about the MCU? Oh, you put a period.
You should type in, how do we stop Kevin Feige?
Hopefully this AI gives a good explanation of why the MCU is trash. Come on, AI, give us something good.
No. It's not.
Kevin Feige got the AI.
Wait. It says, furthermore, it is not appropriate or productive to advocate for stopping an individual like Kevin Feige.
No, he's not simply creating that. No. He's not just, this bot is stupid. He's not simply creating content that many people enjoy. He is melting their brains. He's killing creativity. All right?
Wait. I need to screenshot that.
He murdered T'Challa. All right.
I think the writer of Quantum used that to write that blow after script. Are you more than likely?
Yeah, I think the writer of Quantum. Yeah, it's quite possible.
Yeah, well, that's an impressive feat. It's the first film ever that used this to write a film.
Yeah, but hey, look. Again, my main concern about like this technology is, even though it's like, it's not, it's not able to write a novel yet or something like that. It clearly has like issues and limitations right now. But the fact is that it's this impressive right now. Within a year or two, it's going to be way better. I mean, you think about like when the internet started, like dial-up, right? Could you imagine like doing stuff like what we're doing now with the internet, like instant time discussions face to face, where you're in America, I'm in, Czech Republic, all of this kind of stuff. All those things seemed really out of the remit of what we thought the internet would be capable of. And now we're able to do all this stuff within 20 years. But this technology is going to advance much, much faster than the internet did. So that's where the thing is very scary to me. And what you mentioned earlier, about like, I think it's going to lead to like mass jobs, obviously going away, disappearing because they are necessary. But I also think, in terms of just what happens when this thing can out physics a physicist. All the, it could figure out everything that Einstein did within 2 years of its existence, right? Whereas, Einstein took years to figure out all of this stuff. Once it can do that, what is the point of human beings doing anything? When it can create a novel or a piece of music just as beautiful as any concert pianist or whatever, what would be the point of striving to become the best or be good at that thing? And that's what I'm kind of concerned about. And the fact is, there's no stopping this this thing. And that it's why I've been saying, like, in terms of the superhero stuff, I don't know that that's going to be the main topic of conversation for a very long time. Like, I think this is part of like. Sorry, go on.
Share my screen real quick. I signed up with the AI.
You signed up with the AI
to make me a rap song. I'm about to go.
Oh yeah.
Yo, it's Chat B. Oh my gosh! Wow.
Let's see what people are doing.
It's Chat GBT, and I'm here to say,
Quantum Mania thought the script was good. Kang Dynasty is due. Okay. A lot of people want me to talk about Quantum Mania, whatever. I should, maybe go into that. I don't think it.
We don't talk about good movies like Quantum Mania here, right?
No, exactly. Look, again, I don't want to offend anyone. I came across this epiphany today, right? Where one of the reasons, like, it's like when you see two friends who like support each other and like are really like, like they're almost like brothers and stuff like that. There's a certain charm about those kind of relationships, right? Like, people who are just down with each other, they're brothers, they have each other's back, all of that kind of stuff. And the antithesis of that is the friends that put you off, or and couples or whatever that put you off, are like the ones that are always fighting, and you're just like, what is the point of your relationship if you're just gonna like put each other down and not, do you know what I mean? Do you know that you've seen those kind of relationships? I know this is a roundabout way of me getting to what I'm talking about, but in terms of like,
are you speaking in general?
I'm speaking in general. I'm saying like just these kind of friends where you're just like, in the end, you're making each other's lives like not worse, but you're not putting each other up. You're not helping each other kind of progress and move forward, or whatever friendships are supposed to do. Yeah. And I feel like that's what's happened to the comic book nerds and how they look at these films these days. They can't seem to accept that someone just likes a film, right? If you like a film that other people dislike, all of a sudden, and I'm guilty of this as well, and I will admit it's usually because it's a response from me to how people tend to look at the movies that I like in the comic book movie space. So I'm just like, all right, fuck you. It's my movie. I'm gonna fucking destroy your movie that I don't like. You know what I mean? So
it depends how they. Okay, let's say because I do agree with your point about people nowadays being very butthurt when someone says they like a movie that they think is bad, and then they say I like it, and then they want to go and downplay them so much. It's like he only said was that he liked the movie. It's okay if you didn't like the movie, but you ain't got a dog pile on him. It's not like he said, for example, Spider-Man Homecoming is better than V for Vendetta. Now that is a point where I would have to say you are speaking blasphemy. You are speaking blasphemy, and you need to be exiled from the comic book community. But if they just say I like Spider-Man Homecoming, okay, that's fine. I don't care. But I think when people get into the realm of like, okay, trying to compare movies that are obviously like really bad to movies that are really good, still you don't have to go hard and bash them for their opinion, but it's like, are you trying to bait me? Are you trying to bait people at this point? Are you trolling? Are you serious? But most of the time it feels like bait because people just want to get somebody to argue just to argue.
Yeah. And my thing is, I don't want to kick people when they're down. And I don't honestly think that the box office for Ant-Man has anything to do with, how would I say? I don't think this movie would have to be so good to get the box office that MCU movies have been used to getting. And it's because of the times we're living in. It's not because, like, I'm thinking back to the Batman, easily should have made $1 billion or more. It's Batman.
But I can see why it didn't, because I can see why it didn't. Herman, look at like
there's many reasons why.
If
the Batman is a good movie, but it has some
came out in it. Give me a second. If the Batman movie had come out in 2013,
yeah,
well, maybe not 2013. Let's say like 2017 or something like that. You give it some space from the Nolan movies, because I think it would have been too close to the Nolan movies if you had brought that specific take on Batman out at that time. If that movie had have come out in that time, I think it would have cleared $1 billion easily. And that's because
definitely, because that was a time when Thor Ragnarok was doing well. You was getting ready to go into Infinity War. Well, we just came off of Just League 2017, which was not good, but and what did Deadpool come out around that time? Was 2014 or Deadpool 2?
Deadpool, all of those movies.
But it was like a boom of comic book movies coming out that time, and Venom came out around like 2018. That horrible movie.
Yeah, somehow made $1 billion. Or actually, no, not $1 billion, I think, but whatever.
If Ant-Man Quantumania had have come out a few years ago, I think the critics would have been going, "Oh, the MCU's fucking done it again," and
well,
I don't know about Ant-Man. Well, Nerman, this is the reason I would hesitate on that, because the reception I've seen of Ant-Man and the Wasp,
it was positive though.
Yeah, for some reason people like that horrible.
Yeah, and it was terrible, just like this one. So
it's just the point I'm trying to get to, and I said this in my review and in my stream. There's no interest in Scott Lang's Ant-Man because his second movie only made 100 million more than his first movie. That's not even a drastic jump. That is like, okay, you only made 100 million more than your first movie. Good for you. Your budget was probably bigger, so you probably didn't even break even or make profit like you're supposed to if you just made 100 million more, because the budget goes up for every MCU film. And Ant-Man and the Wasp shown that there's no interest in Scott Lang Ant-Man. This movie is kind of proving that point again, because look at how slow it's gaining money. They were already in the second week, and it's only at 300 something million. Most MC movies with a blue pass are at 400 already.
It's at 400 million already. I don't think it's. I think it's.
It's like let me check. It's like 300 something.
Had a really first good week. But in any case,
but for its whole first week, it was sitting just around 200 something for a whole week.
I think it's past. But in any case,
right now.
I want to go, like, since people want me to talk about it, like, I want to go into the movie and just, my impression of it, because I don't think it's one of the worst MCU movies. Okay, it's at 364 million. I don't think it's I think it's like maybe around like top of the bottom, like
it's slightly better than Antman 2, but that's not saying much.
And
it's not better than the first movie. It's not better than the first Ant-Man by a long shot.
I've said many times, if you replace some of the earlier films with the later films, they would get the same praise as the other ones because they would have come first. I think so. I think that there's a kind of nostalgia kick that's come into the way people appraise the MCU, as if it was like so much better than Phase 4. Now, Phase 4 had some true, I think, really bad movies. I mean, I'm looking at mainly Shang-Chi and
well, Shang-Chi was fine.
And
everything else except
the other one's worse than Shang-Chi. Shang-Chi's just like bad, but like
don't say there's not that.
I mean, I don't think it's that bad.
I'm not saying it's amazing, but it wasn't bad. It was actually
The Eternals is the terrible one.
Yeah, that one's the worst. But I mean, no, Shang-Chi isn't that bad, but it also has some of like the worst things out of any MCU film in it.
I'd say the worst thing about Shang-Chi, it just proves the point about the MCU comedy being the worst part that takes you out the movie and ruins.
Yeah, no, there are things in Shang-Chi and characters and jokes and lines and things they do that are just worse than like any other MCU film, but the overall film isn't that bad, I guess.
It actually takes a different style, like the first, phase 1 films did. Thor 1 tried to be a more like a Shakespearean type of tale with the way Thor, the way he talks and everything, and the way just the way he talks and stuff, his mannerisms. Cap 1, your traditional World War II film, but the spin is you're a superhero. You get Incredible Hulk, Iron Man 1, which was a refresh to the comic book genre.
Sorry, say the last bit again. I just I got like it's film elitist, obviously.
I mean, MCU is fucking trash. That is true.
He's not wrong. No, look again. I've always said this, and I've been trying to say this from the beginning, and people have always distorted what I'm saying to make me out to be some MCU hater. Here is the problem.
There's nothing wrong with hating on the MCU.
You make the same movie over and over again with the same tone that has little to no artistic kind of merit. It's just popcorn fluff, which is fine. I like popcorn fluff. I like some, just straight up action movies that have, but those action movies come out once every, year or 2 years, something like Fast and Furious, I'm thinking of, or, some of those Arnold Schwarzenegger, well, actually the Arnold Schwarzenegger.
John Wick comes out next month.
No, but John Wick's good.
John Wick is good. John Wick's a great action movie.
I'm talking about like
mediocre, mid-action movies.
Mid-action movies, or even just like straight up popcorn flicks that are in one franchise, right? And they come out every few years, and you can kind of enjoy it, and you're just like, you almost miss the characters, you miss the fun, you miss the whatever.
But they can't even do those right.
When you're putting out 4 fucking movies per year plus 7 TV shows, that's going to be a problem, and that's the issue I've always had with the MCU. And to put out the same movie, you just take the one character and slot in a different character. It's like almost like the same person just wearing different clothes, right? And you do that for long enough, and you're gonna lead to fatigue with that particular thing. And the problem is that the MCU has become so ubiquitous, so synonymous with comic book movie content because of how much it puts out, that people can't even distinguish between the MCU and other things like DC or whatever else is happening.
Well, no, man,
I think that's going to hurt the rest of the competition as well. I think it hurt the Batman.
Well, it already has, and it hurt it in this way. And I would just say, in general, the MCU is a big part of it. But franchises in general in the last decade in the MCU have contributed to this. Now, just an example, you have Shazam 2, Aquaman 2, and these other movies coming out that's going to finish out the DCEU, right? We don't know yet if they're going to continue over. We don't know yet. All we know is these movies are coming out because they got to come out, contracts, all that. There's people that are saying they won't go watch Shazam 2 because it doesn't connect, because they don't know if it's going to connect to a bigger overarching universe. Well, you can still watch Shazam 2 if you like Shazam 1. Yeah. If you like DC, go watch Shazam 2.
Wait, I find that stupid because James Gunn just I know everybody didn't see the thing, but he confirmed he's always been outside, so he'll be easy to implement into the rest of the universe. That's what they said.
Right. It's just that David F. Sandberg said, the director said that if the movie does make money and profit, which it can, the budget is $125 million. Well, those numbers may not be accurate. It's Wikipedia, but if the movie makes profit, Peter Safran can easily bring it over. But for people to say, I'm not going to watch a movie because it doesn't connect to this bigger franchise, that's bullshit. That is complete bullshit. Like if you can't separate a movie on its own and watch it just for what it is, that's insane. Because I can watch A New Hope and never ever get a sequel to any other movie.
This is the type of shit that made us get Glass. Fuck.
Okay. All right. So let me just reiterate what I was saying before about having when you how off-putting it is seeing a group of friends that are toxic as opposed to a group of friends who are collective, together. You kind of there's something, because people want that of their own friendships or something like that. They look at that and they kind of admire that kind of quality in things. Right. And I think the thing with comic book nerds, and I think DC fans specifically, is they've become those toxic, not even friendships, they've become almost enemies now. And people from the outside, I know general audiences don't really look at the ins and outs of what's happening with DC, but every once in a while, if you watch comic book movies generally, and maybe you search for the times that the new Marvel movies coming out or something like that, then you're gonna get in your Yahoo feed, right, what's going on with comic book movies, and everything you see about DC is Ray Fisher racism, Ezra Miller fucking this, Henry Cavill's back, Henry Cavill's been fired, all of that kind of stuff is what the general audience is seeing, and all of that stuff comes directly out of the DC fan base's toxic bullshit that they've been supporting Ray Fisher in spite of any evidence, doing the stuff with Ezra Miller just came out of fucking nowhere. Who could have known about that? Right?
Yeah.
You know, the obsession with just this one director, the obsession with just this one actor. I've never seen a bigger, like, I don't understand. Are they attracted to fucking Henry Cavill or something? I don't understand what's going on. I could understand chicks supporting him like this, but a bunch of, you know, I'm or let me be careful with what I say here, because you know, there are people with all types of sexualities, and that's wonderful. But I'm just saying, like, the wave some of these guys go on is as if they're fucking attracted to to Henry Cavill or something like that, and they can't see that, you know, in a lot of very popular
wait, Birdman.
Spider-Man, like Batman, like all of these things, there have been changes in casting. And usually the changes in casting are fine, and they bring something new to the table that the other one didn't. And
it's unless we're talking about Tom Holland, you know.
Yeah, well, you know, Tom Holland is going to be a exception.
Hold that thought. I need to show you something. Hold that thought. Don't lose it. This is 30 seconds. Look at this. Look at the competition copying the superior art. Watch this. 30 seconds. No sound. They copied a masterpiece.
They actually did.
Oh, no, I know they do that all the time. MCU has been fucking doing.
But these are the same exact shots.
They straight up did. And DC too stupid to copy themselves and fucking make these fucking movies.
DC for the win.
Link the tweet, K-Dots.
I'll DM it to you.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, but the whole point I'm trying to make here is about what's been happening at DC is, I think the very thing these fans campaign this way, that they feel completely entitled to something that, you know, isn't, you know, in the end, it's the studio. The studio owns these, you know, franchises, and I know we're the fans and they should, you know, to some degree appease us, but every single step the studio takes to appease these fans, they throw it in their faces. So now the studio is trying to do something new. They're going with James Gunn. Whose fault is that? The fault is of the fans themselves. So in the end of the day, I'm kind of interested to see where James Gunn and this new franchise goes, but I don't think there's going to be much support from it by general audiences, and I don't think there's going to be much support by it from you know, Snyder fans, and I don't know how many DC fans there are out there, really, like, especially like Superman fans. There may be more Batman fans. So how is this all going to work? I don't know if DC can survive everything that's gone by in this last few years. I think it's just got too toxic. Every side has made the wrong decisions. Those campaigning to get the Snyderverse back, those who were against the Snyderverse are problematic themselves. Those who are in the studios who were trying to suppress, you know, Zack Snyder's work only made it worse. So I don't know. It's just, somebody else can speak, but I don't think that that James Gunn is going to be the success story. And this isn't any hatred towards James Gunn. Yes, I don't like his movies, but I really hope they succeed. You know, the future movies succeed, and they are films that I like, but I don't see it happening because of just this history of toxicity.
I mean, I look personally, you know me. I'm no huge fan of Guardians 1, no huge fan of Guardians 2. There are some good parts about it. There is some bad parts. I think they're overall good. Guardians 2, yeah, step down. But Guardians 1, good. I like the Suicide Squad and Peacemaker more. That's also because of DC bias, but that's a different thing. I think James Gunn has the right mind to steer us into the right direction. I think he has the right mind. And personally, I think the general audience, he has more. This is the difference between James Gunn and Mr. Snyder. Zack's movies was always for a niche audience. It was like for a specific group of people. Like when Watchmen came out. Watchmen was a very good film, but it did not do well with the general audience. They didn't really care for it. Us, people like us, and just taking out people that just like comic books up, people that appreciate good film, appreciated Watchmen because that was a damn good film, in a great adaptation of the graphic novel too. But his films always he just always knows how to touch a small part of the audience and not get the whole audience in. James Gunn knows how to appeal to a larger variety of people. And he kind of does have the general audience to back him up, to support him. That's what I would disagree on. I think he does have general audience support.
We'll see. I don't think it translates over to a different franchise. I think he has that support within the MCU, and I don't even think that support within the MCU is that strong anymore. If you look at how these films are performing, the MCU is on a downward slide. And if the MCU is on a downward slide, everything underneath it, like DC, is going to be even worse. Right? So the MCU might make, 500, 600 million, maybe if they're lucky with an Avengers movie, 8 to 900 million. But I don't see them hitting those $1 billion marks with the casual in the casual way they used to. I don't think Guardians is going to hit that much. We'll see about that. Maybe I'll eat my own words or whatever, but I don't think Guardians is going to do like gangbusters either. And it might even, looking at how people are taking all of this humorous stuff, this goofy stuff that's in these comic book movies, that Marvel thought, oh, I've got a formula and this formula is going to work till the end of time. If Guardians hits like that goofy shit, like Thor, Thor, Love and Thunder, and this new Antman, I think you'll be shocked at the reception.
I mean, after Quantumania, I wouldn't.
What he's doing with DC. So go on.
Oh no, I was saying after Quantumania and what was the other? Multiverse of Madness with all that universe shit. I feel like Guardians is going to make like honestly 700 million max, because I feel like after the reception with those two and the box office not being as great as they hope for, if those two audiences are going to look at Guardians 3 in a similar light with like what it's about, and they're just going to be turned off by it, not even give it a chance.
I think so. And, just the fact that they had, I want people to keep the energy the same. And for the most part, they have kept the energy the same. But the fact that the main boss of this next stage of the MCU got beat by a bunch of ants, right? I never want to hear anybody talk about fucking Darkseid being beat by gods again. I never want to hear that again, because your main bad guy for the whole next stage, who apparently killed Thor many times.
Hey, Nerman, right? I think both are trapped. So
beaten by ants.
I don't want to hear the rat thing ever again in the Suicide Squad after that. Yeah,
I was not a huge fan of the rat shit either, but I don't want to see groups of animals beat up people that supposedly killed Thor or killed Darkseid.
But they're the strongest, insects in the world, with their body size and what they carry, so it makes sense. Yeah.
Freak those ants. I didn't even like when that rat stepped on the stupid button in Endgame. I thought that was the dumbest shit ever. Of all the things I pressed, Like, why couldn't it be just two homeless people having sex in a van that pressed the button? Come on.
But when we were critiquing that, everyone was at us. What are you talking about, man? And we were saying, look, you let them get away with that shit.
They gonna do it again.
They're gonna do it again.
Yeah, that was so bad I erased it from my memory, but
I mean, but you do have a point. They let them get away.
When we were arguing with Ashley, when we were arguing with our friend here in the chat, Phil, and we were telling him, dude, that writing's fucking bad. And, you know, all the power scaling issues and all of that kind of stuff. And I said, look, you don't call it out now, then
they're going to do it again.
This is what you're going to get. And this is exactly what you've got. They don't care anymore to make this shit make sense. And I was watching
it's not
War and Endgame and going, none of this shit makes sense. I can't invest in anything that's happening. I'm sure it's very, very emotional, and because the characters have been there for many years and it's a saying goodbye to so, but when none of it makes sense, it's hard for me to invest emotionally because I'm too busy going, wait a second, how did that happen? So Captain America's as strong as the Hulk. He can get punched by Thanos and just survive, like all of that, those kind of things just kept coming up. And it wasn't just one scene, it was every other scene in that movie. So,
that's
why I feel vindicated now. And I feel bad for, MCU fans who are now looking at this stuff and going, oh, wait, hang on a minute.
Hey, but Nerdman, look on the bright side. Look on the bright side. Now MCU fans have a MC movie that had a worse second week drop than a BVS. They know what it feels like. Fuck.
Yeah, well.
Look, if and no, you are right. You do make a great point about, you let something happen, the person's going to try it again. And when they try it again, they're going to see, oh, how far can I go this time? The MCU has taken it so far. I'm telling you, Kevin Feige's going to drop that movie, that superhero movie about a piece of talking poop, and is going to wear a cape and is going to be called Captain Doodoo Pants.
Yeah. No,
it's gonna be 500 million.
No. The fans are gonna defend it because you see there was a lot of nutritional food in that poop, probably. So it makes sense that it's that strong and intelligent, right?
Yeah, and it's good for the kids. Captain Doodoo Pants is protein for children.
It learns that there's no shame in poop. Yeah.
I just think it's about constructive criticism. You don't have to be like toxic about it. You don't have to be like, oh, I fucking hate you for, ruining my childhood.
Yeah, I mean, I'm fine with these films and like those popcorn films. They just don't do it right.
I mean, Velma did ruin my childhood, though.
Yeah. You don't have to go on like it's a masterpiece because people are pointing out criticisms, legitimate criticisms of a fucking movie. That seemed to be like the go-to. Right.
It's like you know I like Wonder Woman 84. I know you don't like the movie. I know a lot of people that like the movie, and I know a lot of people that hate the movie, but I don't be trying to fucking cap for it and shit. If people don't like it, they don't like it. I ain't finna fight for that shit like that. I like the movie. I kept it pushing it to move on.
Of course you do, because
it is nothing really worth defending. Now, if it was something like The Dark Knight, and let's say The Dark Knight came out and everybody was saying it was bad, and it's like, this movie is not bad. What the fuck you guys talking about? That's when you're like, all right, I gotta say something, because you're saying The Dark Knight is bad. You're smoking.
But even then, I mean, I kind of like. I just think that here's the thing. You can point out any criticism you want about like a very popular franchise. Like I can point out anything I want about Infinity War, but in the end, I've got to accept that it is popular amongst fans. Like, and therefore I'm not going to campaign against it. Like, let it go on, so long as it's popular and so long as it's, people are getting some kind of enjoyment out of it. Yeah, absolutely, I root for its success. But it doesn't seem like, on the other side, I don't know how to put it. It's like everything that DC does that I like. I mean, what other films I like? I like that have come out since Man of Steel. I like Wonder Woman. I like Zack Snyder's Justice League. I like Shazam. I like what was the other one? The Batman and Joker. Those are basically the 5 movies. I kind of like BVS a little bit, whatever.
Yeah. I mean, Shazam kind of sums it up best, though, because it's like the MCU can do all that and there can be popcorn flicks and stuff, but it's like they don't even do it right. It's just like boring now because it's the same thing every time. And I don't mean same thing as like genres. I mean, they just copy their own style and don't try to change it up and with a director's vision. And it's not even that entertaining anymore. But Shazam, I think, is absolutely the best example of what the MCU should do with those films, and then it would be all right.
Yeah, I think the MCU can not continue doing what they're doing, but they definitely need some competition. They need really strong competition so that people have, something else that they can do. Like if they're not into the kind of more family-oriented comic book movies, that they're into something a little bit more serious or a little bit, more filmmaker-driven or whatever it is, that they have that option. And I think it will help the MCU to continue. They can make this more cartoony universe or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And I think
they need more animated films.
I hope that would revitalize the comic book movie genre. But in all honesty, I do think it's too late. I think.
Man, can I show you real quick what Antman 3 was lacking? It's 27 seconds. You're gonna love it.
Yeah.
Look at this. It's gonna put you in tears, man.
Yeah. I mean, the MCU is just a money laundering business now.
You ready? 27 seconds.
Can I just see you before you go? Not this version. You. My Billy.
My Billy.
Shazam! Is that why the house keeps getting struck by lightning?
That was so cute. She said, Billy, my Billy, my baby.
Why did you show me that? I didn't need to. I want to see that in the context of the movie, dude. All right.
What the fuck, Adolf? It was a spoiler alert now thing on the time.
That is not even a spoiler. It was officially released.
About Antman. That wasn't even that movie.
Yeah, this is the type of shit that made people think Marriage Story was a bad film because they showed out of context clips. So of course it's gonna look stupid without the context.
Yeah, exactly.
That's a good scene. I never said it was a bad scene. It's a good scene.
I don't think it's that out of context. It's not that great.
I'm not saying it's great. I said it's good. There's a difference between good and great.
Yeah, this obviously looks like in the film where also, the two parents or whatever, figure it out, his powers. So we better the context and learn everything, and then being like, can I just see you without your power? But like seeing it just like that, it's like, yeah, I feel nothing.
Yeah, I think they're trying to show the whole movie because nobody's gonna go and see it.
Yeah,
but like Shazam, I feel sorry for. I feel really sorry for Shazam: Fury of the Gods. I'm gonna buy like 4 or 5 tickets.
I'm definitely gonna see it.
Just go and sit in there anyway.
I already bought 10 tickets.
But it's just again, like I was gonna say about the movies that I mentioned. Not only do I get it from MCU fans about like how those movies aren't that good. I don't know why they don't think they're that good. I think, at least you could admit like 3 of them are good or whatever. But I also get it from DC fans even more. Like just you know, if they're you know, more inclined towards the Zack Snyder stuff, they'll say, oh, you know, what are you talking about? Shazam's just like awful. It's like, you know, kiddie stuff. And I'm like, but it's really comic accurate if you want to read the comics and blah blah. And then, you know, obviously, you know, there's the other side of the DC fandom is just like anything that Snyder ever did was just fucking, you know, horrible and has no merit whatsoever. And
I mean, not
you know,
everything.
to me, it's just cannibalizing each other. And until DC is able to get out of that culture of somehow of everything being a competition, I think it's because they have these filmmakers who do have these very strong points of view on the characters. You know, Zack Snyder has his point of view. Patty Jenkins had her point of view. That it's hard. It's easier for the MCU to be like, it has a singular point of view. All of its movies have a singular point of view. They don't have the director's point of view on the characters. And so it's like the fan base in DC just embrace one point of view or the other. Do you get what I mean?
Yeah.
When I say that, so, you know, you can't, for some reason, you can't like Shazam and like, you know, Zack Snyder's Justice League or BVS. It's impossible for you to do that because I have to like dark, gritty, and blah, 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 even though Shazam isn't a dark and gritty character, and it would make no fucking sense to do Shazam in that fashion, or Wonder Woman in that fashion, but I have to have everything dark and gritty, you know. So I don't know what that's about. Like, I don't understand why the fans have become so childish that they can't just accept that, like, hey, different films can be different. You know, does DC have to have all the same tone for DC fans to accept it? Maybe that's what it is. Maybe that's what they have to do. Like, you know, for better or worse, maybe DC has to go along the same lines as the MCU, so there's no infighting anymore, so that everyone knows every DC film that they go and see is going to be the thing that they're expecting or something like that. But I like to be surprised.
Yeah.
I like to go into a film and not know exactly what I'm going to go and see, like, or what tone it's going to exactly be.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I just wish they didn't fucking tell us the story of No Way Home. That would have made it better. But yeah, I mean, what I like about what James Gunn is doing now is what he said. It's like, because again, like Shazam, Aquaman, Wonder Woman, BVS, all right, despite maybe not being all great with most audiences, like, you know, a lot of people didn't think Aquaman or BVS was so great. Like those four films, and there was a lot of issues with like the universe connecting and everything and just the whole thing, but they all have, like, you can tell the directors like own styles in that film instead of just like 95% of it being the same feel in MCU film. And I think they're gonna continue that with what he said about, you know, the director's visions and styles and stories being their own, but properly, instead of whatever the fuck that was with executives.
I think that, you know, honestly, with the maturity level of that the DC fandom has shown, you just have to see someone like, I don't mean to call out people or whatever, but like, who's this guy? I even had him on my channel once.
What?
Not Poindexter, this other guy.
Yeah. I mean, I'll say that despite
he wants to sue Warner Brothers for.
Oh yeah, that is hilarious. Solid writer, that fucking incel.
Look, I'm not gonna insult him.
I am. Yeah, I've given him a chance, but he's absolutely deranged. Jesus Christ, him.
But like, you know, with that level of maturity when it comes to just being able to watch a film,
whatever,
right? Like, hey, a comic chat man, nice to have you on there. But with that level of maturity, I'm just like, I think the best way for DC to roll for now, at least in the beginning, is to pick a lane, pick a tone. Don't try and do Game of Thrones style here, super goofball comedy here, like fantasy here. If they do that, then I think people are going to go with some people are going to go with one direction and go, everything else is shit that isn't in this specific way. And then, there'll be other people who'll be like, no, I like this Game of Thrones stuff, and everything else that isn't that is shit. I've just seen way too much of that. They don't seem to be able to accept.
Okay, I kind of agree. Like, honestly, as much as I like DC way more than the MCU right now, with the lineup here, the fans' maturity, like, for example, I've been to so many day one premieres for MCU films. The despite what you want to say, and with like the fans always like just like being quote unquote sheep. There's some like the nicest people I've ever met in a theater, and they're all so like mature and like respectful in the theater. And then I go to like 2 DC film showings. They're the most disrespectful motherfuckers ever. And like telling like the theater managers to shut up loudly, yelling at them because they're spending 30 seconds to just say, if you guys have any complaints about the theater after showing up, please contact us online. We listen to all feedback. I'm just like, what the fuck is wrong?
I mean, I don't know about that. Look, I went to the Joker and I went to the Batman, and I didn't see any like.
Sean is trying to make up.
But what I will say is that I think that there's less dissension historically with MCU fans because the tone is all the same. There's maybe slight differences in tone, but all in all, you can see that it's not the filmmaker's decision about the tone of these movies. It's the studio's decision about the tone of these movies, and I think it just leads to you're not going to have a visionary or visionaries who are going to add something, their own kind of flavor to the table, and then people are just going to be, because I remember even with Christopher Nolan, there were like these diehard fans who, when there was a criticism of the third movie, The Dark Knight Rises, they all came out of the woodwork saying they wanted to kill the reviewers who didn't like the third movie and all of this kind of stuff. So it's not just Zack Snyder. It's about having film, like filmmakers with a specific point of view coming into the comic book movie space. I just don't think that these fans, the majority of them, are mature enough to handle it. Comic Chat, what do you make of all of this?
I think the MCU has changed a little bit. I agree with what you said earlier about the MCU and their kind of formulaic, the kind of same thing, and it kind of sets the tone. But I think they're kind of changing because Sam Raimi went a different direction in Multiverse of Madness, and I think
look at what happened.
Yeah, but I mean, you may not like it, but it grows.
No, I love it. Okay. That's the one movie. That's one of the MCU movies I like.
I think there's evolution in the MCU. I think we're going to see it more in Antman and Wasp, as far as they start diving more into Kang. I'm not saying it's going to be like superior, but I think Kang and the actors are going to bring a new flavor to it, and I think it's going to be very interesting to see him take on different versions of Kang. That's something we've never seen before. We've seen a little bit of multiverse and a little bit of the variants, but we've never seen one variant so different and then so connected. So I'm thinking that they may change. Well, they have the opportunity to change. Whether or not they're going to take that opportunity and capitalize on it, I don't know. But they have.
But let me ask you a question. What has been the reception generally to movies within the MCU that have been a little bit more director driven or have been a little bit more, because I'm thinking two specifically, Black Widow and Multiverse of Madness. Those to me, to this day, and even Eternals, even though I understand why people don't like Eternals, because I think it's pretty bad. But the two movies that I think are fairly good, if not really good comic book movies, are Multiverse of Madness and Black Widow.
I think that
there's been huge backlash from MCU fans about those two movies.
For the Black Widow, I think it was just too little, too late. They did the movie.
That was too late.
It should have been like 4 or 5 movies ahead. So it's kind of like, okay, yeah, it could have
Or
been
you should
good
have
if it
ended
was
off phase 3 with that and not Spider-Man Far From Home.
If it was in sequence, I think it would have been a better reception because Scarlett Johansson is her character is very much loved, and she's very much loved as an actress. 2, Multiverse of Madness. I think that is the first starting point of the evolution that MCU needs to take into letting the actors the directors be more hands-on. And I think that some of that stunt and growth was Chapek. I was told that whenever Bob Iger left out there, Chapek came in there, it was a whole new order. Coach got this whole new game plan, and he kind of stifled Kevin Feige. What I've read and what I've heard from different other YouTubers that are more plugged in than I am in that particular situation. Now that Iger is back, I think we may see Kevin Feige have more of his hands on in there, and I think he may be open to evolution as far as the directors go. So we have to wait and see first.
But I understand what you're saying, and you're being very reasonable about it as you usually do. I think it's great, but I'm saying that you've seen more divisive reception to the MCU as they've allowed, more artistic direction in their movies. And I for me, Multiverse of Madness, I really enjoyed it. I think I rated it just a little bit less than the Batman. I mean, I enjoyed that movie. Like, I'd give it 1 mark below the Batman or something.
I
like
the Batman better.
Yeah, I like the Batman better as well. But that's just because it's more my type of movie, first of all.
Because Batman's my favorite character.
Batman's my favorite character. He's, or one of my favorite characters. Doctor Strange is not. There's a number of things going for the Batman apart from the quality of the movie. So for me to have enjoyed Doctor Strange as much as I did, goes to show just how well I think he did in terms of like some of the direction there. And the thing I liked about Doctor Strange most was the direction, was the creative use of CGI, not just using CGI as just like, I know you like Quantum Mania, but you have to admit the CGI is just used.
Yeah, but how could you create a whole new universe that no one's ever seen using practical?
Oh, I don't want him to use practical effects. I'm just saying there's a difference between painting and creating, unique visual aesthetics with CGI and then just using CGI as a crutch. I think if you use CGI as a crutch, you're just like, okay, I'm just gonna, make some stuff. It's gonna look
it's like with the if y'all seen a recent episode of not the most recent one, but episode 5 when they introduced the bloater, which is a zombie from the game. That whole thing was in a practical suit, but they layer CGI over it to do all the extra effects, make him do attacks that he can't normally do. The visual effects is just an add-on to this already practical thing, and it's just icing on the cake to make it.
I'll say I've had a handful of issues with that show, but the practical effects on it look really good, and that was smart to do. But just having that as an add-on, that's what they should do with more things, but they don't.
I don't even.
I mean, not everything you can do.
Let's get back to the point, because I just to say, I don't think that Ant-Man. It's not one of my favorite movies. I'm not gonna like comment chat, but I also don't think it's anywhere as bad as people are making out. Like, I thought it was okay. I think the more I think about it, I thought there were some dumb things in it, like getting Kang to get beat by ants and that kind of stuff.
I got more problem with the script than I do with the special effects and some of the back and forth. The way they did Murdoch was totally crazy. They made him. I don't like the way he looked. The stupid stuff back before, being like, "Oh, so I'm dying an Avenger," and all this kind of.
What was that stuff about him? Him like, I'm not an asshole or whatever.
Yeah.
I'm not a.
It's like a
I didn't get that.
back and forth between him and the little girl and Antman's daughter.
Yeah,
I
that
was just frustrated that he got wasted because you could have used him to set up AIM, like he did in some comic iterations. He sets up AIM.
I thought that Zoloff basically was Dr. Zoloff, or a creation of him, but like they kind of went away from that. One thing I don't like about with MCU, they cherry pick some stuff, and sometimes they cherry pick. So it's okay to cherry pick, but at least have it grounded in the lore or in the comic books or something. Sometimes they'll take one part and they'll totally turn on the head. Sometimes it's good, but a lot of times lately it's been not so good. So they need to just make sure they stay more rooted, I think, into what the comic book character really is, his or her motive, how they were created. Sometimes I think.
Well, I also think that like there's certain comic book characters really like. Do they need a movie? Like, do they need a TV show? And I think the MCU has just been going and getting like, yeah, let's go do some Moon Knight. Let's do a little bit of Antman. Let's do a little bit of this and that.
Well, Moon Knight is deserving of a project.
Honestly, there was
What'd you say, K-Dots?
Moon Knight is deserving of a project. The problem is that show he was in wasn't good.
I don't
wait a second.
I don't hate the show.
Wait, K-Dots.
I mean, a show is fine.
I'm not saying that the Moonlight. Look, there are a lot of characters. Like I can think of a lot of DC characters that I know deserve like a show or a film or something like that. But at the same time,
not one of them.
At the same time, I don't. If I was, in charge of, and I knew about this character, I might not necessarily make that show or thing if I know that it's going to saturate a market, and I know that it has to. I don't know how to explain it, but it's like when you're trying to connect everything the way they are, it filters down the Moon Knight story. If you're just going to make a Moon Knight kind of movie, like on its own, disconnected from everything, and just focus straight on Moon Knight,
kind of like an Elseworld, you think? You talking about?
Yeah, like an Elseworld. I think that could work better. Like an R-rated hardcore kind of like.
But that's the criticism that DC keeps going, because I keep hearing DC fans say, "Why we got 2 or 3 Batmans?" I mean, I don't care. To me, the Joker and the Robert Pattinson Batman, they should be in the same universe.
They should.
I don't know how they would do it, and I don't think the fans of that. A lot of people say, and it's us saying the normies won't comprehend. The normies ain't that damn stupid. You can break this thing down, and you can do the same way Star Wars does a crawl, and they explain stuff, and they get people up to speed in that crawl in the first 2 or 3 minutes. They do a similar thing in DCU and in the MCU. I'm not saying a crawl, but they could put something on the screen. Hey, 10 years ago, this happened, blah, 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 blah. Give already a brief synopsis, people up to speed. It's not that hard. So I don't understand.
I agree with you completely on the Joker and the Batman universe. I don't know why they didn't make that happen, but whatever, like.
I don't want to see the Joaquin Phoenix Joker. I want to see that Joker that was in the end scene credit.
Oh, you mean but Joaquin Phoenix playing him?
I don't want to see Joaquin Phoenix is not the Joker that we're traditionally accustomed to. He don't even have
so you're saying you want those 2 worlds separated?
I don't want that Joker. I don't think the Joaquin Phoenix Joker is going to be up to par with Batman, because he just has a mental illness. He has no kind of
strategy, and
he has no kind of strategy. He has no kind of in the comic book Joker. He's very adept in art. He's very adept in chemistry and that kind of stuff. He almost seems superhuman. I don't think the Joaquin Phoenix Joker would be the correct Joker.
I think they could do stuff to make Joaquin Phoenix like,
maybe.
The
way he said he wouldn't even work because he's gonna be too old to fight Robert anyways.
That Joker that we saw in the prison that he went and talked to, I think that's the Joker they should go with.
Yeah.
Maybe not that actor, but that Joker, because he seems very psychotic. he seemed like he could be Batman's equal.
But the thing I didn't get is why they didn't have him fall into the vat of acid, because with his looks, I thought that's perfect. So he fell into a vat of acid, and that's how you would look if you fell in a vat of acid, right? So it made sense to me.
Maybe when they show him, if it gets that far, because I don't know who the next villain would be. I'm not a big fan of how they did the Riddler. I like the Riddler, like in the suit with the cane.
I mean, they're doing like 3 different shows with villains. I believe one of them's Clayface, and so he might be one of the next ones. I think they might have 2 though.
Yeah, so I would do Killer Croc. Killer Croc would be fantastic in that Elseworld. So.
Yeah, well, what was the third one outside of Clayface and Penguin, Kudos?
Originally, it was Penguin, the Gotham City, the Gotham Police show, but they scrapped that. It's going to be something else. There's only 2 shows at the moment. So it's Penguin.
It's Penguin now.
But it was
Arkham Asylum. I thought.
Yeah, so they might just do that Arkham Asylum thing and Penguin.
But anyway,
Robin Pattinson Batman is supposed to show up in the.
Quick question, Nerd Man. Mm-hmm. I just recently watched Batman. I think Gotham by Gaslight. I did not like that. Did you like that?
I liked the idea, but I thought the execution was a little bit weird, to be honest.
I did not like it. I did not like the bad guy. I don't want to spoil it for anybody who hasn't seen it.
Yeah.
And I do not like how Batman gets his ass whipped the majority of the film. I did not like that. Okay.
No, I didn't. It was all right. I didn't hate it, but I didn't love it.
That's the worst one DC made so far that I've seen.
Ooh, I don't know about that. That's
and Batman Ninja. I don't like those 2 at all.
Batman Ninja is like,
I didn't like Batman.
That's like an acid trip. I didn't get that either. But there's one that's way worse, man. Like that's too harsh for Batman. That one. I think there's one. I'm trying to think of it now, but like there's one that's way. There's a few.
Batman?
Like solo Batman, like even Batman Hush.
Batman Hush was disgusting.
What?
I never want to see that movie again.
Y'all are crazy.
But that was stupid.
Batman Hush.
Yeah, that was
that Riddler. I really
that was the worst twist.
I think you're talking about the Killing Joke.
The Killing Joke is pretty bad as well.
Both of them.
Batman Hush, that twist and ooh.
I
mean, just the beginning. Like I love me some Batman. I love me some Batman, and Batman has this because I'm Batman powers. He can do anything. But this man fell from a skyscraper that was at least 30 floors, fell flat on his face, and didn't die.
His cheekbones are so powerful.
To be fair,
I get it. He's because I'm Batman. He got his power.
No, he's got his metal jaw. You know.
Yeah, he got that metal plate in his jaw.
He does that in the comic as well. To be
but
fair,
Nervin, that was too much.
I'm pretty sure his cape or something slowed his fall down.
Yeah, something slowed his fall down. I was like, okay, but nothing. He just fell.
But anyway,
like,
look.
Okay,
let's get back on track. So we were discussing. I don't know what your view of comic chat of Ant-Man and.
I gave it like a 6 out of 10.
Oh, okay. So yeah, that's about what I would give it. Maybe a 5. I'd give it a 5 out of 10. But it wasn't completely offensive to me, like Eternals. Like as J-Man says,
the end scene credit saved it. It gave it a little bit more. It probably would have been a 5, but seeing the Council of Council of Kings, that really got me like, yeah.
But how are you gonna get excited about a dude who gets beat by ants? Like I don't care. I don't
think he got beat. I think it set him back because he wasn't ready for that. But I don't think he did at all.
How can you not be ready for that if you're ready for the whole Avengers? Like Thor would have killed those ants.
Because I think
straight up.
Okay, somebody told me this guy is like the last Kang that was defeated, because the one that we see in Loki defeat all of them. So I don't think he may not have seen the exact thing. The one in Loki has seen to the end of time. Is the way
but he got beat by ants, dude. Well, I don't understand. Like you can see he
didn't get beat by ants. The ants like tore his equipment up, but he came back and he fought and was whipping Scott ass. And then they
Oh,
put him in that time
yeah,
thing, and then that's what defeated him. The ass didn't defeat
yeah,
him.
but he beat Ant-Man. Big whoop-de-doo. I mean, like, he in the end, he lost. The thing that this movie could have done, which I think could have made it work, is he beats Ant-Man. Like, he kills Ant-Man or something like that. That would have been
well, I
think would have made it work if he would have escaped and left Ant-Man and the Wasp in the quantum zone, in the quantum realm. Then we figure out how the hell next 2 or 3 movies, how the hell we gonna get them out of there. That would have worked.
Right. Or something like that. Something like that. Either he killed them or got out or something. Yeah. He should have won in that movie.
But in this movie, if they wasn't going to, like I said in another stream, if they wasn't going to have too many stakes of people dying or killing a main character, don't use Kang the Conqueror. Like they showed thousands of Kangs at that council. They could have used any throwaway Kang, because the thing is, Kang the Conqueror is the main Kang the Avengers deal with reoccurringly in the comics. You have Immortus, who's his equal.
But I think the top one
is the main Kang. They should have just used a throwaway Kang.
The top one though.
Huh?
I think the top one is He Who Is Left, and that's his last, and that's his name.
Well, he who remains, but he's dead.
He who remains. That's
but the reoccurring Kang is the one we see in Antman and the Wasp that the Avengers deal with on a daily.
Like I said, I don't think he's dead. I don't think.
No, I don't think he's dead either. But I'm just saying they should have not used that.
The private. But before we go, are we gonna? Is everyone gonna go and see Shazam?
No. I already got my tickets.
I'm going tomorrow to see Creed 3.
You're not gonna go and see Shazam, really? Did you not like the first one?
I give it a 6 out of 10.
What, the first one?
The first one, and I'll tell you the reason why. They wasted Mark Strong, who was an excellent actor. They wasted him. I would not have let the Shazam family come in the first one. They blew their load. I would have had the Shazam family come in here in the second one, and then them together could defeat these two, whatever they are, goddesses or whatever. I just don't think. I think.
Yes and no. I there's some merit to that, but like that was, having read the comics, that was awesome to you, like the Shazam family.
Yeah, the Shazam family is awesome. I'm not done. I'm saying I just I wouldn't have blown my load, so to speak, in the first movie.
Yeah, but it made sense to the theme of the family. It made sense to the theme of the family that in the end it was his family that helped him. I can see where you're coming from, but I think that third act actually really worked for me in Shazam. But I can also understand what you're saying.
I can slightly agree, because I would have probably preferred for them to show up in the second movie, because I can agree you are blowing your load. But did that moment in the theater shock me so much? Because I was like, that was totally unexpected. And then I was just like, damn.
What DC movie have you seen a scene and you'd be like, oh shit?
All of them.
No.
All of them.
I can even say it about BVS, and I hate BVS.
You're lying.
I can say it about BVS and Man of Steel, and I hate both of them movies with a passion.
Dude, I'll tell you what. Like, I think DC has more of those moments than MCU.
You are crazy.
Endgame
has 3 alone.
Endgame?
Yes.
What? The Captain America.
When Captain America caught Mjolnir, my theater went full. I mean, you couldn't hear nothing for about 10 seconds. When he said Avengers Assemble, you could hear nothing for about 10, 15 seconds.
Moment.
When Iron Man died.
That's where it stops at. Danny's where it stops.
I'm just saying. And then in Infinity War, when Thor came out with the hammer, in Wakanda, crowd went crazy.
Okay.
Another one, when Captain America would save the Scarlet Witch and Vision, when the two when Thanos acolytes was whipping their ass, and they went to and he catches her damn shit, crowd went crazy.
Okay, let me tell you something straight up. First of all, the Shazam moment beats all of those moments.
Oh my God!
I'm not even gonna. I'm telling you straight up, the Shazam family beats all of those.
That Shazam family moment beats out all the Infinity War moments, though.
Oh my God!
Endgame, I'm gonna let that slide because I got Captain America bias. Remember
Captain America caught that hammer, K-Dots, you didn't go crazy?
I did.
Hell
No.
yeah.
I'm saying Endgame, the Captain America moments get a pass, but everything else, that Shazam family moment was better, but not the Captain America stuff. I got a Captain America bias.
Dude,
yeah.
Let me talk about DC moments. Okay,
name them.
Are we talking straight, like only from?
I'm taking when you see one scene, you be like, "Oh shit!" and the crowd, your theater goes crazy.
Are you talking about
Tell me that.
from 2013 onwards?
I'm talking about whatever you want to pull out. Whatever, it don't matter.
Oh, okay. So now you're finished.
Okay.
Superman catching the helicopter from 78. Fucking amazing. Like that moment of the Superman.
Wow, you going way back.
No, you said any moment.
I said, okay, go ahead.
Wonder Woman stepping onto the onto No Man's Land. Fucking epic as shit. Like 5 minutes of
the music. The music was better than that, but go ahead.
I think it was fucking epic. The Batman car chase scene.
Talk about with the penguin.
With the penguin, where he fucking does the car chase.
I'll give you that was good.
The Bat Pod from the Dark Knight, the moment when the Bat Pod finally came out.
When the Bat Pod came out, Flash,
his motorcycle in the Dark Knight.
Flash racing back in time. Zack Snyder's Justice League, dude. There's so many images.
But I'm saying
the
crowd. I'm not saying you. I'm saying your theater went crazy on all the ones you're saying when you watching the theater.
Do you mean?
I'm saying theater. I'm telling you, and I'm not exaggerating. Everyone I told you just now, when I was in the theater went crazy on all the moments I just named.
Oh, okay. The Batman.
Those are MCU shows.
The Batman
they don't count. Them are MCU.
Oh my God!
Look. I'll be honest with you. BVS got like in my theater like 3 moments like that. The Batman beating up all of the guys.
I'll give you that one. That was fire.
Wonder Woman turning up in BVS got a huge fucking applause from
I'll give you that. I'm a Gal Gadot fan.
Actually,
I just wish they didn't spoil Wonder Woman in them trailers, but that was still an epic moment when she popped up.
Even the Joker movie, like
no.
I'm not saying there was any cheering.
That scene when he came out dancing, people was coming out, they was clapping. It was like, "Oh, Joker!"
They were kind of like laughing.
No.
They was like standing over. Oh, and also when he shot Murray.
I'm not going to say that. I'm going to say there was a gasp in the audience when he shot Murray, or when he killed that fucking stabbed the guy through the eye. Like there was literally a gasp of like, like you could see, and it was the silence in the audience was they were engrossed in the movie, and you heard every time the moment there was that shocking moment in that movie, and also in the Batman, dude. When the Batman first comes out and he's doing that like monologue about like, I've been doing this for 2 years now.
For me in my theater, the
Batman, that beginning monologue, like afterwards, everyone fucking clapped. After that beginning monologue where he's just like, I've been doing this for 2 years.
Man, you want to know what it was for my theater with the Batman? When his boots was stomping that ground as he was walking up them stairs to go beat up them thugs, and that's when people in my theater started clapping when them boots go like some cowboy boots. That's when people in my theater started clapping. For my theater, Batman got a total of 3 claps.
And Batman, Robin Pattinson. Okay, I give you the boots. What are the other 2?
The Bat Chase car.
The car, no, it was exactly at the car revving up. That's when the clap started coming in. People started cheering, and then It was one more scene. Which one was it?
Yeah, you can't remember because it didn't happen.
See, these MCU shields stay hated, man.
I'm not MCU Hill,
No,
but y'all trying to act like.
And the difference between the DC moments and the MCU moments is these didn't need build up. This was just purely off the iconography of that character being brought to life in a way that completely captured the spirit and meaning of that character. So when Superman 78, he flies for the first time, picks up that helicopter, and she's like, "Who's got you?" He goes, "I've got you," and he's like, "Who's got you? Who's got me? Who's got you?" Like all of that scene is. I wasn't alive in '78, so I don't know how the crowd.
Yeah. I think now I agree with you saying that's iconic. I'll give you that. But I'm talking.
I'm telling you that.
And in my theater, in the last Spider-Man, when they showed Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield, man, the crowd went crazy.
Hey, look, I ain't gonna lie.
Yeah,
I like him, but I was mad when people started clapping because I was trying to listen to what Andrew was saying when he came through. I heard people in my theater doing all these backflips. I was like, man, I'm trying to hear.
I know, but they went food
on my experience. Some empty shit.
No, that's not. Tell me a moment in the MCU that didn't rely on like 20 other movies.
Well, it don't matter, and applause is applause. Getting to a million.
No. But do you not think it's more genuine an applause? Sorry, and I'll let you speak after this. It's more genuine about the actual film itself. If it's not like, oh, it's because it's built up for 20 years. It's actually just the moment. The moment is just actually epic. And that's why
this is the only way I can explain it to you. We both trying to get to become a millionaire. You sell 1 million oranges, I sell 1 million books. We both get it. We both millionaires. It don't matter how you get there, as long as you get there.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, fine. Fair enough. They were epic moments. I don't want to take that away from you, but like my personal belief is
let's agree to disagree. We both have equal amounts.
I think it's more of no. I think it's a different type of achievement. Ooh, you on the phone? Okay, yeah. I'm not gonna.
It's a work call. I got to take this. I'll be right back.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, I mean, I got his point though, like earlier about Shazam. Like, yeah, maybe they should have waited in the second or third one. But I mean, I think it might hurt them in the second or third one in the long run. But however, I don't think it takes away from the moment in the first or makes it a flaw. And I do think it worked for what the movie was going for, what the message is, and I do think it was an epic moment. So I think it just benefited the movie. Like, again, it might hurt it in the long run with the second or third film, but I don't think it hurts it in the first.
Yeah, I mean,
Nerman, I gotta get ready to head out.
I've got to dip myself.
Yeah. I'll just say one last thing before I go, because I do gotta get ready to head out. Last thing I want to say, MCU shields killed the theater. Thank you.
Yeah, they did.
Wow, man.
True. True. Now every movie, people are just expecting there to be a bunch of cameos and them cheering. Goddamn, like the DC fans were so desperate to have that moment instead of just moving that trash away and just enjoying their films. That it's like they cheer just like anytime, like when Alfred first showed up in a scene in the Batman and Catwoman. I'm just like, you fucking, is this what films are now?
Wait. Excuse me. Okay. Don't try and like fucking come with your DC hate on my channel. I'll fucking drop you right now.
No, I'm hating on the MCU fans for infecting some of their brains, of how they think about films.
Wow, Cole. Wow, really?
Yeah.
No, but like here's the thing. Comic chat. On a real level, I think that the achievement that you're talking about and I'm talking about are two different things. One comes from filmmaking, which is an achievement in just the technicality of bringing a scene to life and doing it well, i.e. the Wonder Woman No Man's Land scene, i.e. certain Batman scenes in the Batman. And then there's another type of achievement, which I think is equally as good, which takes patience, which is about building up a certain amount of what do you call it, like investment in characters that I think the MCU did, like with that Iron Man picking up Mjolnir. I don't even know if he's listening to me. Did you heard what I said, or you didn't hear?
I'm sorry.
No, I was saying that the things we were talking about are two different types of achievement.
Okay.
One is to do on the DC side with like the filmmaking, creating a kind of scene that has this kind of emotional or epic resonance about it, which is like the No Man's Land scene, certain scenes in the Batman, certain scenes in Joker, certain scenes in Zack Snyder's Justice League, whatever. And then there's another type of one that I think is an equal type of achievement, which was done by MCU, which is about building up investment in characters and paying it off. And that's what that picking up Mjolnir is about. And I think both of those types of achievement deserve, applause, because they both take a certain amount of skill and foresight and whatever.
I can agree with that statement.
Thank you. Here we go. What has he got to say this time? Bonzo?
Yeah, I can't say I'm at work here, but I'll be back when I'm done. Just wanted to say happy birthday to you, stupid DC loving, MCU hating. And I'll leave.
Thank you, brother. Peace out. But yeah, that's really it. So what I've got to say, I think that's a good way almost to end it on a kind of agreement between.
That's not.
You're not really an MCU shill, to be honest.
I'm not a MCU hater lover, and I'm not a DCU hater lover. I want all comic book movies to be successful, because if one's successful, then usually the other one will be successful. When one takes a lot of criticism, that tends to roll over to the other one. So I like all of them. I like both movies. I mean both comic books, franchises. There's crap on both sides, and then there's gold on both sides. So
I mean, I'll leave it at that, because I love DC. I think mainly because I like the characters more, but also I really like some of the films. So
like I said,
it's just unfortunate that I think we've got to a point where I think
I'm really excited. I hadn't been excited about a movie since Wonder Woman '84, and I got disappointed.
Oh, that was horrible.
But I'm really excited about Flash. When I see the Flash previews and trailers, I'm like, man, that's gonna be fire. So I hope.
The Flash is gonna. I hope so, man. I really hope so.
I hope it lives up to what it's looking like.
Do you think before we go, do you think Reverse Flash is in that? Because I was talking about
it. So. He has to be. To me, that is Flash. A lot of people say Gorilla Grodd and Captain Cold. I don't think they hold a candle to Reverse Flash. Reverse Flash. That's his sole purpose. Is to fuck with
I like Gorilla Grodd. But like I also agree. Reverse Flash is like there's a reason, because he's got the Speed Force and whatever that he makes him a good challenge for Flash. But here's the thing: do you remember that moment in the trailer where he goes it's like something along the lines? Because I'll tell you my theory. I think that his twin is Reverse Flash. I think all this Dark Flash, all of that, I think it's a red herring. I think he's Reverse Flash. I think they're throwing it in our faces as well. Like, if you're a comic book fan and the
only thing is that he had on a black suit, and the black suit is usually Zoom.
Right. But here's the thing. So if you look at the motifs of his colors, they're all yellow, more yellow and a little bit of red. But also he says one thing, and when I watched the trailer, it was the one bit of the trailer I didn't like, and I kept like going back to it thinking, I really hate it because it's like seems like an MCU style joke or something like that. Like, not the bad MCU jokes, not the
like when you're taking a picture of Supergirl.
No. that was another bad one, right? But there were two of them. So it was the one where he goes, you stole my face. You stole my face. Because I was like, why would anyone say that? Even if you saw somebody who looks identical to you, you're not going to go, you stole my face. It seems a really weird thing to say, right? And it just seems like, oh, you're just doing it just to try and be.
I'm sorry, work can get me. Sorry.
You're doing it to try and be humorous or whatever. And then the second one was there was two bits where he is acting like a fanboy, and I just kept thinking, that's, if you look at the comics, that's exactly what the Reverse Flash did. He like stole the face of Flash at one point and like infiltrated his family. And then the second thing was he's always a fanboy of the Flash, like he was a fanboy of the Flash in the future and becomes a kind of like stalker in the present day. And maybe that's what they're alluding to when, you know, he's being a fanboy of like the Batmobile, and he's a fanboy of like Supergirl. Okay, so I'm going to explain this theory very quickly. So the stealing the face thing, right? And then, you know, he's a fanboy of the Batman. Like he sees the Batmobile and he goes, "Oh my God, the Batmobile!" And the thing with Supergirl as well. Now, if you remember in the comics, that's exactly what the Reverse Flash starts off as. He's like a fanboy of the Flash, and he comes back.
Him off.
Until
Flash pisses him off for whatever minute reason.
And one of the things he does is he actually steals his face at one point and like infiltrates his family. Like that's one of the like iconic things that the Reverse Flash did. So I think it will be a shame. I'll be very disappointed if it isn't that now. Because before I was like, I'd hate Ezra Miller to be the Reverse Flash. That would be stupid. But if they're going about it the way I think they're going about it, I think that actually could be quite fun.
That sounds very good, but it sucks that they won't build on this. They're not going to build on this.
Yeah.
That is crazy.
Yeah. But that being said, I think I'm going to have to leave because I have to like hang out with my...
say before I go, man, happy birthday, man. I wish you many, many more, bro.
Thank you so much. Same to you. Sean, thanks for coming on. Thanks for everyone, joining my birthday stream. Yeah,
I was talking with J-Man there.
Oh, I don't know what he's talking about, but
we're talking about Bollywood films and, you know.
Oh, Triple R.
Yeah, stuff like that. I got kind of annoyed by Triple R because of all the bandwagoners on YouTube now who pretend like they always seen Bollywood films and are just making reviews of it, of RRR for views from the Indian audience.
I liked it, but it was a little bit.
That cop, man, I don't know what he's made of, but I wish I was made out of some of that shit he's made out of.
He was badass.
Oh my God.
He the shit out of people.
Yeah, Bollywood films, I mean, they're not like, I mean, they have all the issue that like terrible Hollywood blockbusters have, sure, and they're cheesing over, like Oldham. Yeah, they're not good well-made films, but I go to them just for mindless popcorn fun, and they do a far better job than like 95% of shitty Hollywood blockbusters nowadays. And
you're just a hipster, and you like everything that's different.
I didn't like all that dancing part that they were doing.
Listen, I lived in the area.
Unfortunately, we will talk about Bollywood another time.
No, I was just saying, I lived in an area in Canada for a while that has a lot of, has a lot of people from those countries living there, so they played a lot of those films. So I saw a lot of them for years. So I
used to watch them with my auntie as well, but like I only like this one franchise called Johnny John Anton or something like that. But anyway, peace, guys, and love you 3000. Bye.